Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nobody, and we're out here at another untrained, unprofessional shooting range working on a brand new product. Now what we have here is a product from Ballistics, and you may remember Ballistics from a previous video that I did to where I was shooting a ballistic body and having way too much fun with it. However, this is a little bit different of a beast. This is actually something that can be configured in multiple configurations. The basic element of this is the NoGap Block. And it's a NoGap block because, well, it has an ingenious tongue and groove system that allows you to lock these blocks together so there are no gaps for the bullets to pass through. The NoGap block is normally used in a military, law enforcement, or a commercial range type setting to where you want to keep bullets from ricocheting off walls and it catches the frag. Ballistics has seen a viable option, for the regular retail customer, someone that has property that would like to be able to shoot, but may not be able to have the time or the expense to be able to put in an actual range. Hence the NoGap Homefront Wall. If I could interrupt for just a second, it does seem like the Homefront Wall is not going to be on the website right away. But it does seem like it's possible to reach out to them and order one. So you'll want to try that if you're looking for the Homefront Wall. Now what will be on the website are things like one of my favorite targets, the ballistic body. I prefer to run my ballistic body with a t-shirt because after all, bad guys wear shirts. And why not make it feel a little more realistic? Ballistics also has what they call their large self-healing target. They also have a mini version of the self-healing target. And it's basically just like what you would see with the cardboard targets that a lot of us train with. It has the A, C, and D zones already imprinted into it. And it's a nice large line. Makes it really nice to delineate between your, oh, was this a line breaker or not? First shot 126, total 227. I'm never going to be a modern samurai. Ballistics also has a line of small animal targets that can just make it a fun day out at the range. I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot you. Boop. All right, back to the video. Now, I went out last week and I did some tests at 25 yards, shooting it with various calibers just to see how it would perform at such an extremely close distance, just to get some initial data. This block right here is one in particular that I shot with 90 rounds of Freedom Munitions, full metal jacket, 55 grains, traveling approximately 3150 feet per second out of my rifle. And as you can see on the back here, there are no pass-throughs, whereas on the front, it caught all the rounds. It also caught 10 12-gauge slugs without pass-through. I also shot it with the 7.62-39 out of my AK-47. It did pass through at 25 yards, which I kind of expected. And I didn't bother shooting my 308 at it because of the 7.62x39 performance. I did shoot my Winchester 270 soft points, and it did catch the rounds. However, when I started stacking rounds on top of each other, this is the back of the block that I had shot. That's 4 rounds that passed through at 25 yards. So today is to see, with those calibers and a few others, to see how far back I would have to go in order for the Homefront Wall to actually catch the rounds. We're going to be starting at 100 yards with the 7.62x39. And for giggles, I brought full metal jacket and soft point for that to see the performance. First up is 7.62x39. I'm using a little bit of Tulamo full metal jackets. These are 122 grain. Well, I heard steel behind it.
You want to go take a peek?
Let's go take a peek.
All right.
Coming up to the target here. Our impact was right here. Coming back to the back of the target. Put up some cardboard, just to make it easy to find and distinguish. As you can see, exit hole. And then I decided to modify this target for anything that passed through with a piece of 1/8 mild steel, and it didn't even penetrate. So if you're worried about over penetration and you're kind of curious, this might be a good option. I found some 7.62 by 39 soft point lying around in one of my boxes, and I'm not really sure who it is. My guess is that this will not penetrate. Place your bets now. Andrew, you got a bet?
I'm betting it will.
You're betting it'll penetrate?
Yeah, I think it will.
All right.
There?
Right there.
There we go.
That is our 7.62 by 39 soft point impact. We retouched up the steel. No penetration. On to 308. Now this is a pull down that has been reloaded. It's 147 grain. Painted it just so we could start seeing our impacts a little bit easier and touch them up every time, but there she is. Let's look on the back side. Well, no hole in steel. We do have penetration, and it did stop, and looks like it would have had to have been tumbling because there is not really a dent there. Very interesting. We just found the remains. Here's the front of the projectile where it looks like when it impacted, it just squished off. And that's what's left of the back end. All right, so next up I'm going to use this Federal Power Shock. It is a 150 grain soft point. There's our impact. No penetration on steel. No penetration on the back of the paper. No impact on the back of steel. Now I'm going to move on to some Winchester Super X. It's a soft point, 180 grain. It's a power point. That makes it sound more intimidating. Here's the impact on that 180 grain soft point. No penetration through steel. No penetration through paper, and just to prove, nope, nothing here on the paint. Winchester Super X 3030, 170 grain silver tip. And yes, this is a Winchester. And here's the Winchester silver tip coming around to the back. My finger's in the way, sorry about that. We are good. Now for giggles, I'm going to use some Hornady Lever Evolution. This is a 160 grain FTX projectile. It's just basically just a little ballistic tip. Just to see what it does. I don't think it's going to penetrate, through the block and into the steel. But sometimes things will surprise you. In my face. I caught it. Velocity on that Hornady was 2274. There is our entry. Nothing through steel. And our same 2 holes on paper. All right, stepping up to a 6.5 Creed. This is 143 grain ELDX. 6.5 Creedmoor. No penetration on steel. No penetration on the back of the block.
That surprises me.
Well, unless that cardboard is just holding it in.
Yeah.
All right, just for giggles again. This is the Finbear. Shooting a Winchester 270. It's 150 grain core locked soft point. It was stopped at the 25. However, when I was stacking rounds on top of each other, I did 4 in a tight little group. It did go through. This is more of a formality. I don't think it's going anywhere. This is more just to hurt my shoulder. All right, here is the Winchester 270. Not even a dent. And no pass-through.
Sweet.
I think it's time to move to 200, don't you think, Andrew?
I think so. Let's do it.
122 grain FMJ out of the AK. Doesn't look like a dent on steel. And look at that. It stopped it at 200 yards. So we're back at the 308. Going with my M14 clone here. It's a Norinco, by the way, which is always kind of fun. And we're shooting the 147 grain full metal jacket. And yes, you know, last time at the 100 yards, it just barely squeaked through. But this wouldn't be a true test if we didn't cover all of our bases. And it's just fun to shoot. Doesn't it look so awesome? And I get an awesome score of plus 10 just for shooting it. As you can see, this is a different rifle. It is a 308, and you're definitely questioning why not shooting the M14 clone right now. Well, that's because it had a slight little issue with the reloads, and I have the rest of this stuck in the chamber. So that's going to be another project that I'm going to have to work on. Lots of fun. But we do have another 308 that we can shoot at the 200-yard line just to see if it will penetrate. And this is a different load, I think a different bullet weight. What do you got?
It's a 178.
It's a 178 FMJ.
ELDX.
It's an ELDX, so a little bit different, but still 308. Let's see what it does. All right, so we got a couple things going on here with this particular example. So those are two shots, one because partly wasn't recording on the first one, so it took a second shot so we could get everything. But on my case separation, if we look underneath here, we see where I impacted. I actually hit low on the target, did not hit the block. But we passed through. So the 147 probably would have been stopped, but it would still go through 1/8 inch steel if it's unobstructed. But all of Andrew's shots were completely stopped into the block. So to bring you up to speed, viewers, we moved back to just over a mile, 2,040 yards. Andrew is playing with his tricked out 308. We're going to see what an impact on the block does to see if we can get it to register that Hornady hit indicator. Impact!
2,040 yards.
Well, guys, it's been a very interesting day learning with this new NoGap block system, which is not really new in the commercial, law enforcement, and military aspects. You know, it's been out there for a hot minute, you know, but on the more consumer side, it's been a lot of fun. And this is a new product, we should say, that's from Tap Ballistics. And just kind of learning the best way to utilize it, you know, the calibers and projectile styles and different platforms. You know, I think it's been eye-opening and really educational. I've had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It's been a great day, and I think we both came out of here learning quite a bit.
Yeah, and you know, it's like I'm a different discipline than Andrew. You know, I have a very short attention span, and I like to be up close and shoot fast and all that kind of stuff. Whereas Andrew, his channel is Trium LLC, and he likes to shoot very, very far. You know, over a mile. You know, that's his thing.
It's my happy place.
So it's really interesting to get his perspective on a setup like this, and we'll find out. It's like, what do you think of this?
I absolutely love it, and there is there's very little not to like about this. Easy to set up. You can configure it any way that you want to. So like right now, I think we're at 36 by 36, something like that,
Yep.
right? And if I wanted to take that out to 2 miles, I could configure it at a 48 by 48. It's going to give me a good backstop with everything that we painted white here. Very easy to identify where the impacts were. Like this is the impact from 2,040 yards, and very easy to tell where that was. So I mean, you could do the same thing with this at any distance you wanted to use it at. It's not lightweight, but it's very easy to set up, fast to configure. You can make it as big or as small as you want, depending on what you're doing with it. And man, I think it's a slick product. I'd absolutely buy it. Absolutely buy it.
So, and you know, it's like you're talking about, you know, the ease of seeing your impacts, and you know, so this is basically like a self-healing target that actually stops most of the rounds, depending on what you're shooting. But let's say you're at 100 yards and you wanted to sight in a rifle. What are the pros to doing something like this?
Well, you think about it, a lot of times we will sight in closer and then move back like maybe 25 yards or whatever, just to make sure that we're on paper at 100. You wouldn't have to do that with this. You could go, you know, a big target like this and just make your adjustments straight from 100 yards, a quick bore sight or whatever, and you're going to be on the block. And if you wanted to make it bigger as a just in case, you could do that. So
yeah, so that would definitely save some time and some ammo, and just the overall cost.
Yeah, for
you know, to do that.
For sure.
So, and really, you know, the modularity of the NoGap block, you know, is what makes this system possible, because really, it's like you can use it to make whatever you want. Now, this has been used in ranges, you know, for both commercial, military, and law enforcement, and it's great to line walls and, you know, just make sure you don't have ricochets and frag and whatnot, you know. But, you know, this is coming out in a different configuration for the consumer market, and it comes down to that with that modularity, that you can use it for whatever you can imagine. So if you're in your basement and your wife didn't know that you were digging a tunnel to shoot in, you know, this could be your backstop. That would be a viable option.
By the way, I have already rented the excavators.
Cassie doesn't know.
No, she doesn't.
Don't tell her.
Don't tell her.
So, but, you know, it's like you're not limited to just this. And you were talking about, you know, at 2 miles, you'd want a slightly bigger one. And you can do that with this system. You know, it's like you can either create your own stand, because this is just a unistrut stand, and it's really easy to do. Wouldn't say the most portable thing in the world, you know, just these blocks are 36 pounds, but, you know, it's the utility of the product.
Yeah, and there's nothing here that you couldn't put in the back of any pickup and head off. You know, I mean, so it's still portable. It's heavy.
Yeah, it is portable. You know, there's pros and cons to any system. You know, there's like whether it's a paper target or something like this.
Yeah.
You know, but I think the cons are not as much as the pros to it.
No, the pros definitely outweigh the cons, in my opinion.
And I do like this hit target, you know, up here. You know, it did make it really nice and easy to see the impact.
Yes, it did.
So it's a visual confirmation because it just does it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's visible.
Those are by Hornady, by the way. Roughly $10 a piece, $50 for a 5-pack. One of the most useful tools you can get if you're going to get into extreme long-range shooting or long-range shooting, especially when you're getting out far enough that you're not hearing the report back. So we'll throw in some Hornady kudos real quick too.
Yeah, hashtag not sponsored, but we would like to be.
Yeah, I know a guy. I know a couple guys.
Yep. So that's the Tap Ballistics NoGap Homefront Wall. and you'll see it on the market very, very soon. Which check out their retail store, which is just barely opening, hopefully at the time of this video.
Slick setup.
Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you.
Have a good day.
Check out Andrew, Trium, LLC.